The Silent World. The grand hall of the Galactic Assembly stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian floor. Crystalline pillars rose toward a ceiling that displayed the rotating arms of the Milky Way in perfect holographic detail. Representatives from over 400 species filled the tiered seating, their bodies ranging from towering stone-like beings to delicate creatures made of living light. At the center of it all sat an empty chair. The chair designated for Earth had gathered dust for 47 years. Ambassador Vethran of the Kasari Dominion slammed his 4-fingered hand against the speaking podium. His amber skin darkened to deep crimson, a sign of fury among his people. The Kasari had ruled the largest military coalition in the galaxy for 8 centuries. They were not accustomed to being ignored. 47 summits, Vethran announced, his voice echoing through the translation matrices that made all languages understood. 47 times we have extended the honor of membership to these humans. 47 times they have sent nothing but automated refusals. A ripple of murmured agreement passed through the assembly. The Thelian delegate, a being whose body appeared to be woven from threads of silver light, raised a tendril in question. Perhaps they simply prefer isolation. Many young species require time to develop. Vethran's laugh was harsh and mocking. Isolation. They were given faster-than-light technology by the Mendori exploration team 5 decades ago. They were shown the path to the stars. And what did they do with this gift? They retreated to their single-star system and built nothing of significance. Our surveillance shows primitive orbital stations. Basic mining operations. They hide on their homeworld like creatures afraid of the dark. The humans did express gratitude for the technology, offered Ambassador Selene of the Mendori. Her species had made first contact with Earth, and they were known throughout the galaxy for their gentle nature and scientific curiosity. They asked only to be left in peace to develop at their own pace. Their own pace. Vethran spat the words. We have given them 50 years. 50 years while the Devourer swarms grow stronger in the outer territories. 50 years while they contribute nothing to galactic defense or trade. 50 years of wasted potential. He turned to address the full assembly, spreading his arms wide. I propose protective integration. The Kasari Dominion will establish garrison forces in the Sol system. We will bring these humans into civilization whether they desire it or not. Their system sits at a critical position near 3 major trade routes. We cannot allow such strategic territory to remain undefended. The debate continued for hours. Some species argued for continued patience. Others supported Vethran's proposal. A few suggested simply abandoning Earth to whatever fate awaited them. In the end, as often happened, military pragmatism won over philosophical concerns. The vote passed by a margin of 63%. Vethran smiled, revealing rows of sharp teeth. Then it is decided. The Kasari enforcement fleet will depart within 10 rotations. 300 warships should be more than sufficient to convince these primitives of the benefits of cooperation. Far across the galaxy, in a facility buried deep beneath the surface of Earth's moon, Commander Marcus Webb watched the assembly broadcast end. The room around him hummed with activity. Dozens of officers monitored screens displaying data from across the solar system and beyond. The walls were lined with tactical displays showing ship positions, defense grid status, and construction progress reports from locations that officially did not exist. They're coming, said Lieutenant Commander Yuki Tanaka, his second in command. Her voice carried no fear, only a calm acknowledgement of expected events. Yes. Marcus leaned back in his chair. 300 ships. The Kasari must think us very weak indeed. Do we reveal ourselves? Marcus considered the question. For 47 years, humanity had maintained the greatest deception in galactic history. They had allowed the galaxy to believe they were primitive, isolated, and insignificant. They had hidden their true capabilities behind layers of misdirection and advanced stealth technology. Not yet, he decided. Let them come. Let them see what they expect to see. We'll give them every chance to turn back peacefully. And if they don't, then we'll show them why that was a mistake. The reason for humanity's silence was simple, though the galaxy would not understand it for years to come. When the Mendori had made first contact, humanity had been overjoyed. The proof that they were not alone in the universe had united Earth in a way nothing else ever had. World leaders had celebrated. Scientists had wept with happiness. Ordinary people had looked up at the stars with new wonder. Then humanity had started paying attention. They watched the assembly broadcasts that were transmitted across the galaxy. They studied the histories of hundreds of species. They learned about the wars, the conquests, the forced integrations. They saw how the strong dominated the weak, how military power determined political standing, how species that could not defend themselves were absorbed into larger empires whether they consented or not. And they made a decision. Earth would not be weak. Earth would not be vulnerable. Earth would prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. The first hidden construction facility had been established just 3 years after first contact. It was disguised as an asteroid mining operation in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. The workers there mined ore for public consumption while secretly manufacturing components for warships in the asteroid's hollow interior. Over the decades, the program expanded. More facilities were built, each one hidden in plain sight. Research stations that were actually weapons labs. Mining operations that were actually shipyards. Debris fields that concealed massive defense platforms. The greatest achievement was the construction of the Void Fleet. Beyond Neptune, in the eternal darkness of the outer solar system, humanity had built something unprecedented. Using resources harvested from the Kuiper Belt and Oort Cloud, they had constructed 2,000 warships. Each vessel was a marvel of engineering, incorporating every advancement humanity had made while the galaxy thought they were primitive. The ships had no running lights. Their hulls were coated in materials that absorbed sensor sweeps. Their heat signatures were contained by revolutionary cooling systems. To any scan, they appeared to be nothing but drifting ice and rock, indistinguishable from the billions of other objects in the outer darkness. They had waited there for 20 years. Patient. Silent. Ready. Commander Webb pulled up a system-wide display. Green dots indicated human assets throughout the solar system. There were the public installations that the galaxy knew about, the orbital stations and lunar bases that surveillance satellites could see. Then there were the hidden ones, shown in blue, hundreds of facilities that appeared on no alien sensor sweep. And finally, in the outer darkness, a cloud of red dots. The Void Fleet. 2,000 vessels crewed by men and women who had volunteered to spend years in isolation, far from the sun, waiting for a day they hoped would never come. Status of all facilities? Marcus asked. All construction sites report green, Tanaka replied. The belt platforms are at full readiness. Mars orbital defense grid is charged and standing by. The Void Fleet confirms all vessels are operational and crews are at battle stations. What about the new toys? Tanaka allowed herself a small smile. The Cyber Warfare Division reports that infiltration programs are loaded and ready. They've been mapping Kasari computer systems for 30 years. When we give the word, we can shut down every ship in their fleet simultaneously. This was humanity's secret weapon, not just physical force, but digital warfare refined to an art form. While the galaxy had focused on plasma cannons and quantum shields, humanity had invested in information warfare. They had studied every species' computer systems, identified vulnerabilities, and developed programs that could bypass any firewall. In the modern galaxy, wars were fought with weapons. But systems were run by computers. And computers could be controlled. 10 days later, the Kasari fleet arrived at the edge of the Sol system. Fleet Commander Zoreth stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Crimson Victory. He was a veteran of 40 campaigns, a hero of the Kasari Dominion, and thoroughly bored by this assignment. Intimidating a primitive species required little skill and offered no glory. Initial scans complete, reported his sensor officer. 9 planets confirmed. Significant asteroid belt. Detecting orbital infrastructure around the 3rd planet. Estimate 40 to 50 defense platforms with basic kinetic weapons. Fleet strength. None detected, Commander. Various civilian vessels throughout the system. Mining craft. Transport ships. No military presence. Zorith chuckled. They have no fleet at all. The assembly's intelligence was accurate. These humans truly are primitives. Shall we proceed to Earth? Open a channel first. Let us give them the opportunity to surrender gracefully. The communication was established within moments. A human face appeared on the screen, a man with dark skin and gray-streaked hair. He wore no uniform, displayed no insignia of rank. This is Earth Central Authority, the human said. You have entered sovereign human space without authorization. Identify yourself and state your purpose. I am Fleet Commander Zorith of the Kasari Dominion, Zorith replied, amused by the human's audacity. We come by authority of the Galactic Assembly to extend our protection to your system. You will stand down any defensive measures and prepare to receive our garrison forces. We did not request your protection. We do not recognize the Assembly's authority over human space. You have 48 hours to withdraw from this system. Zorith laughed openly. Several of his bridge officers joined in. You give us an ultimatum? Human, look at the reality before you. We have 300 warships armed with plasma cannons that can crack your planet's crust. You have orbital platforms with weapons that cannot penetrate our shields. You have no fleet. You have no chance. 48 hours, the human repeated. After that, we will consider your presence an act of war. The channel closed. Zorith stared at the blank screen in disbelief, then shook his head. These creatures are either brave or stupid. Probably both. He turned to his tactical officer. We will wait 12 hours instead of 48. Let them see us approach. Let them understand their mistake. Then we will establish orbit and begin landing operations. The Kasari fleet advanced into the solar system. They passed the outer planets without incident. They swept through the asteroid belt, noting the mining operations and research stations that matched their intelligence reports. They saw exactly what they expected to see. They did not see the weapons platforms hidden inside asteroids, their stealth fields masking everything from energy signatures to gravitational influence. They did not see the shipyards concealed within hollow moons, where the final components were being loaded onto fast attack craft. They did not see the Void Fleet beginning its silent approach from the outer darkness, 2,000 ships moving like ghosts through space, their engines running at minimal power, their hulls absorbing every photon of starlight. And they certainly did not see Commander Marcus Webb watching their every move, counting down the hours until humanity revealed its true face to the galaxy. The countdown had begun. The awakening. 12 hours passed like sand through an hourglass. Fleet Commander Zorith sat in his command chair aboard the Crimson Victory, watching Earth grow larger on the main display. The blue and green world looked peaceful, fragile, utterly defenseless. Around it, the primitive orbital platforms floated like toys waiting to be brushed aside. We are approaching optimal orbit, his navigation officer announced. All ships report ready for positioning. The humans have made no response to our approach. None, Commander. Their communication channels show normal civilian traffic. No military mobilization detected. Zorith nodded with satisfaction. They have accepted the inevitable. Perhaps they are not entirely foolish after all. Signal all ships to assume garrison formation. Prepare landing craft for deployment to the surface. The order was about to be given when every display on the bridge flickered. Sensor anomaly, the detection officer said, frowning at his console. I am detecting energy fluctuations across multiple locations. The readings are inconsistent with anything in our databases. Clarify. I cannot. The fluctuations appear to be originating from empty space. Locations where our scans show nothing but asteroid debris and cosmic background. Before Zorith could respond, the main display updated with new information. Warning indicators appeared across the solar system like stars being born. Dozens of them. Hundreds. The sensor officer's voice rose with alarm. Stealth fields are collapsing. Multiple locations throughout the system. Commander, there are ships appearing where nothing was before. In the asteroid belt, what had appeared to be tumbling rocks revealed their true nature. Massive weapons platforms unfolded from concealment, their hulls bristling with arrays that glowed with charged energy. Mining vessels shed their civilian shells, revealing sleek warships beneath. The research stations opened like flowers, their petals becoming sensor dishes and missile launchers. Near Mars, an entire defense grid powered up simultaneously. Satellites that surveillance had logged as weather monitors revealed themselves as targeting systems. Orbital platforms that seemed barely functional lit up with weapons designed to cut through the heaviest shields. And in the darkness beyond Neptune, the Void Fleet dropped its stealth. 2,000 warships appeared on every sensor screen in the Kasari fleet. They had been drifting toward the inner system for days, their approach masked by technology that made them invisible to every detection method known to galactic science. Now their engines ignited with blue-white fire, and they accelerated toward Earth with the unified purpose of an avalanche. Impossible, Zorith whispered. Where did they come from? How did we not detect them? His tactical officer was already working furiously at his console. Commander, I am analyzing the human vessels. They are reading larger and more heavily armed than any ship in the known galaxy. Their weapons systems do not match any configuration in our databases. Their shield generators are producing readings that should be theoretically impossible. It must be a sensor trick. Some form of electronic warfare. Negative. I have confirmed visual observation from multiple ships. Those vessels are real. They are here. And there are 2,000 of them. Zorith gripped the arms of his command chair. His fleet was outnumbered nearly 7-1 by ships of superior design. But the Kasari had not conquered half the galaxy by surrendering. All ships, battle formation. Power up weapons and shields. We will show these humans that Kasari warriors do not flee. An incoming communication signal flashed on his display. Against his better judgment, he accepted it. The same human appeared on screen. The man with gray-streaked hair who had given them the ultimatum. His expression had not changed. Your 48 hours ended 36 hours ago, Fleet Commander. We gave you additional time as a courtesy. Now you will power down your weapons and surrender your fleet. Surrender? Zoritha's amber skin flushed nearly black with rage. The Kasari do not surrender. You may have hidden your fleet, but you will find that numbers alone do not win battles. Our warriors are veterans of 100 campaigns. Your primitive crews cannot match our experience. We are not going to fight you, Commander. Then what? We are going to demonstrate why fighting us would be pointless. The communication ended. For 3 heartbeats, nothing happened. Then every system on every Kasari ship began to fail. It started with weapons. Plasma cannon charging sequences aborted automatically. Missile tubes locked themselves closed. Targeting computers displayed error messages in languages their operators had never seen. Within seconds, every offensive system in the fleet was offline. Then shields began fluctuating. Power levels dropped to percentages that should have been impossible to reach. Ships that had been protected by layers of energy barriers suddenly stood naked against the void. Engines lost thrust. Navigation computers went blank. Life support systems switched to emergency backup. The mighty Kasari fleet, 300 warships that had conquered 12 worlds, hung helpless in space without a single shot being fired. Report. Zorith shouted into the chaos of his bridge. What is happening? "We are locked out of our own systems," his technical officer replied, his voice cracking with disbelief. "Something has taken control of every computer in the fleet. Our security protocols are being bypassed faster than we can respond. Our firewalls are being rewritten by the intrusion programs themselves. I have never seen anything like this." On the main display, the human fleet had not fired a single weapon. They had simply waited while their cyber warfare division dismantled the Kasari fleet's ability to fight. 30 years of infiltration, 30 years of mapping systems and identifying vulnerabilities, had culminated in this moment. The communication channel opened again. This time, a different human appeared. A woman with silver-streaked black hair and eyes that held no warmth. She wore a military uniform bearing insignia that Zorith did not recognize. "I am Fleet Admiral Elena Vasquez of the United Earth Space Force," she announced. "Your fleet has been disabled. Your crews are unharmed. Your life support systems will be restored to full function within the hour. But your weapons and engines will remain locked until you are escorted out of human space." "This is an act of war," Zorith managed to say. "No, Commander. This is a demonstration. You came to our system with hostile intent. You ignored our warnings. You planned to occupy our world and subjugate our people. We have shown you, without killing a single being, why that was never going to happen." She leaned forward slightly. "We could have destroyed your fleet. Our weapons are more than capable of penetrating your shields and vaporizing your ships. We chose not to. Remember that when you return to the Galactic Assembly. Remember that humanity asked only to be left alone, and when you refused, we defeated you without shedding a drop of blood. The Assembly will not accept this," Zorith said, grasping for any leverage. "The Kasari Dominion will return with 1,000 ships. With 10,000. You cannot stand against the full might of galactic civilization." Admiral Vasquez smiled, but there was no humor in it. "Commander, what you saw today was our home defense system. Our local garrison. The fleet that protects our single-star system." She paused, letting the words sink in. "Imagine what we have built elsewhere. Imagine what we have hidden in the darkness between stars, in places your sensors cannot reach. Then imagine trying to fight a war against an enemy you cannot find, cannot track, and cannot defeat." She straightened in her chair. "Humanity does not want war. We want peace. We want to join the galactic community as equals, not as subjects. But if the Assembly chooses to force a conflict, we are prepared. We have been preparing for 50 years. And we will not lose." The channel closed for the final time. Zorith sat in silence, surrounded by the blinking emergency lights of his crippled bridge. His career was over. His reputation was destroyed. He had led the greatest humiliation in Kasari military history. But beneath the shame, a cold realization was forming. The humans had beaten him without trying. Without fighting. Without even revealing their full strength. If this was their local defense force, what else had they built? What other capabilities had they hidden? For the first time in his long career, Zorith understood what it felt like to be truly outmatched. 3 days later, a single shuttle approached the Galactic Assembly Station. It carried no weapons, no escort, nothing but a human pilot and a single passenger. Ambassador Sarah Chen had waited 50 years for this moment. She had been chosen from birth for this role. Her education had included every galactic language, every diplomatic protocol, every political system known to the Assembly. She understood the power dynamics between species, the ancient rivalries, the current alliances. She knew who could be trusted and who could not. And she knew that this first appearance would set the tone for humanity's place in the galaxy for centuries to come. The Assembly chamber fell silent as she walked to the central podium. Every eye, every sensor, every attention was focused on her. She was the first human to address the full Assembly. She would not be the last. "Representatives of the Galactic Assembly," she began, her voice carrying through the translation matrices to every corner of the vast hall. For 50 years, humanity has watched your councils from afar. We have listened to your debates. We have studied your histories. We have learned much about the galaxy we share. She paused, looking around the chamber. Hundreds of alien faces stared back at her. Some curious. Some hostile. Some afraid. We know what you think of us. You believed we were primitive. Isolated. Weak. You assumed that because we did not join your summits, we had nothing to offer. You decided that because we preferred peace, we were incapable of war. You were wrong. Her words hung in the air like a blade. Humanity has never been weak. We stayed silent not because we feared the galaxy, but because we did not trust it. We watched how the strong treat the weak here. We saw species absorbed against their will, their cultures erased, their identities consumed by larger empires. We decided that would never happen to us. So we prepared. While you counted our orbital platforms and dismissed us as primitives, we built shipyards and asteroids and factories in the void between stars. While you ignored our automated refusals, we developed weapons and defenses that surpass anything in your arsenals. While you planned to intimidate us into submission, we created a military force capable of defending against any threat the galaxy could produce. She turned to face Ambassador Vethran, whose amber skin had gone pale with shock. You sent 300 ships to conquer us. We disabled them without firing a shot. We could have destroyed them. We chose mercy. Remember that choice when you consider how to respond. The assembly erupted into chaos. Delegates shouted questions and accusations. The Kasari representatives demanded retribution. The Thelians called for immediate diplomatic negotiations. The cacophony was deafening. Ambassador Chen waited until the chairman restored order. Humanity is not here to threaten anyone, she continued. We are here to join this assembly as full members. We are prepared to share our technology. We are willing to contribute to collective defense. We want trade, cooperation, and peace. But we will not be bullied. We will not be threatened. And we will never allow anyone to dictate terms to us. She reached into her uniform and produced a small data chip. This contains specifications for our cyber warfare countermeasures. A gift to the assembly. Your ships will be protected against the techniques we used against the Kasari fleet. We share this freely, as a sign of good faith. There is something else you should know, she added, her voice dropping. We have detected the devourer swarms that you have tried to keep secret. We know they are approaching from the galactic rim. We know your current defenses are insufficient to stop them. Every delegate froze. Humanity has been preparing for that threat as well. Our hidden facilities have been producing anti-swarm weapons for the past decade. We are willing to share that technology, to coordinate our defenses with yours, to fight alongside you against the darkness that is coming. She looked around the chamber one final time. The galaxy has a choice. You can continue to see humanity as a threat to be controlled. You can attempt to conquer us, and you will fail. Or you can accept us as allies. You can work with us to face the challenges ahead. You can learn from us, as we have learned from you. The chair designated for Earth has been empty for 50 years. Today, I intend to fill it. She walked to the human delegation's seat and sat down. The chair that had gathered dust for half a century finally had an occupant. The assembly remained silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, the Andari delegate began to applaud. Others joined. The sound spread through the chamber like a wave, growing until it filled the vast space. Not everyone clapped. The Kasari sat in stony silence. Others looked uncertain, afraid of what this new power might mean for the galaxy's balance. But humanity had announced itself. After 50 years of silence, they had spoken. And the galaxy would never be the same. In the outer darkness of human space, the Void Fleet continued its patrol. 2,000 ships guarding the home they had defended without firing a shot. Their crews watched the assembly broadcast with quiet pride. They had shown the galaxy what humanity could do. They had proven that strength and mercy could coexist. They had demonstrated that the species which preferred peace was more than capable of war. And they had sent a message that would echo through history. Humanity was here. Humanity was ready. And humanity would stand with the galaxy against whatever darkness lay ahead. The stars had never looked brighter. The end.